That we're using an amendment to basically get rid of commissioners we disagree with. And we're using the ordinance as a vehicle to do that.
Well, hello, dears. It appears we're taking a trip down the proverbial rabbit hole at City Hall. So hold on tight, it's a bumpy ride. Until a few months ago, we had a group of highly qualified and experienced engineers and water attorneys serving on our Utilities Oversight Commission. But the poor dears wouldn't stop asking uncomfortable questions about where your money was going.
In government, it's always about the money, and in this case, it's about protecting the cash cow of a city-owned water and wastewater utility.
The only reason it is being brought forward is money. The utility has it and the city wants it. Money is the only reason the Commission's authority has ever been diminished. Like this one, every amendment has come forward after a Commission action to control costs or spending.
So our governing body gave the Commission a good smackdown. They got rid of those pesky probing engineers and attorneys by abolishing our Utilities Commission.
This is not an evolution, it's an execution.
The City Council created a kinder, gentler, likely less observant Public Infrastructure Advisory Board.
And with all due respect, Mr. City Manager, the way this is worded gives absolute everything that will be considered by this new board, committee, commission, whatever it's called, input only regarding city manager's input. What about a board or a commission? Do they, anything in here that says they can bring innovative ideas?
It's a bit of a don't call us, we'll call you relationship now. The new board needs no qualifications and has no authority to initiate ideas or question our city administration. Sounds like my marriage to Mr. D. God rest his soul.
I wasn't surprised when the mayor appointed 3 new people to the commission in 2015 and claimed that they were the first group of commissioners that were properly vetted and actually qualified. I'm not surprised that the governing body is moving tonight to eliminate the now qualified commission because it's been bold enough to actually look at the utilities budget and bold enough to make recommendations that could pressure the governing body into making policy changes, budget policy changes.
Here's the kicker, dears. Without knowledgeable, dedicated people scrutinizing the $53 million utilities budget, most of us wouldn't even know about the creative ways our city administration takes money from the utilities fund by charging, shall we say, questionable fees. And our utilities department is the only city department charged rent to be at City Hall. So money from our water rates ends up in the city's general fund to be spent on things like pay raises and pet projects. I think they call this a backdoor tax, dears.
Do you ever borrow from Peter to give to Paul? And is that considered a violation of your relationship? Well, only if you don't tell your wife about it.
Now there, it can't be all bad. According to one city councillor, it's about spreading our wings.
C.S. Lewis, who's the author of Alice in Wonderland, once wrote, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be even harder for an egg to learn to fly while remaining an egg. And besides, you cannot go on indefinitely being just an egg."
This is a big deal. I gotta wonder if this is the right solution to the right problem. And if you don't have a compelling reason to do this in a hurry, I would advise you to take some extra time and make sure you're not gonna come up with some unintended consequences that you might not be thinking about. Oh, and it was Lewis Carroll who wrote Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, I do love a man who knows his literature. I do wonder, though, if the new fledgling board was hatched under the premise of needing new blood and fresh ideas. Why was Mayor Hall's first new appointee a twice recycled commissioner in the middle of last year's power grab dust-up over the Utilities Commission. Curiouser and curiouser.
All my life I've heard the saying, the only way to kill a snake is to cut off the head. Well, ladies and gentlemen, metaphorically, it's time to cut off the head of the Utilities Commission by dissolving its existence by a motion and a vote.
Well, puppets, it sounds like a bunch of jabberwocky to me. Let's have a good stiff cup of tea.
I think the city has outgrown the need for management of a water utility by an appointed citizen board. I think the governing body is knowledgeable enough to be accountable for that and to rely on our staff and consultants to advise us.